Hi, this is Jean. Today I want to talk about what did I learn from the heavenly man, Brother Yun, face to face with the Chinese underground church, and how their prayer rattles heaven, and the visions that the Lord showed me. Before I went to meet Brother Yun on the conference, I talked to God. I said, God, I want to meet them more privately. I want to meet them face to face, because I speak Chinese, and even I'm a nobody, but I have a lot of questions for them. So I laid it on God, and He graciously, miraculously granted my request. When I meet Brother Yun, I was able to be taken to their their own private room and be able to pray with them and ask them questions. When I was taken to the prayer room prior to the service, all of them were like just on their knees, praying and wailing to God. And I had the privilege to kneel down right next to Brother Yun himself, and he, think about this guy, right? Brother Yun, he's had united about 50 million Christians in Chinese underground church, and he had, homeless about 20 to 30 years, preaching the gospel, and went to jails for like 10, 11 years for the gospel's sake. And now he was, miraculously rescued and was able to go to different nations to awaken the spiritual state of them. And I would say he's pretty famous, pretty influential. But yeah, when I was next to him, when he was bowing down to pray, he was more zealous to God than everybody. He's more into the prayer. He is more leaning in the love of God than any of them. And I remember he was saying, God, Lord, let us stand in your temple. And boom, instantly I was seeing the spiritual realm in the throne. Physically me and Brother Yun were next to each other, but in spirit he's about 10 feet ahead, closer to the throne than I am. And he was wearing a Chinese general's armor, like a terracotta style. And I looked over to his team, and every one of them were wearing warrior's armor, Chinese style, and you can tell that they are experienced in the warfare, because and the Lord spoke to me. He said that I have granted him the authority over the nations. And deep in my heart, I knew that the Lord had granted my request, and He counted me more worthy to worship next to Brother Yun at His throne. And I was, very moved. And afterwards, while we were waiting for the meeting, I was able to talk to them and ask some questions. I said, how did you preach gospels? Especially the missionary now in North Korea. So how did you, do it there? Because you can be beheaded or executed. And they told me that, look, everything they do, they deal with the spiritual realm first. Before they witness, as they witness, they will be praying to God to give them wisdoms, to lead them the steps of the right path. And then, and as they do that, the spiritual realm will break, and they will be able to, get the things accomplished. And I also see how they, plead for the meeting that I went. And you know what, that day, the whole place, the whole meeting was packed. They had to literally mandate people to clear the fire exit, and they had to turn 1,000 people away because there was no room for them to park. And obviously during the meeting, the spirit just broken, and I'm talking about hundreds of people just kneel down and repent and wailing. It was unbelievable. And then it was so valuable to learn that we deal with the spiritual realm first. And since I came back, I have applied that to my witnessing strategy. Before I just go and talk to people, and sometimes, and a lot of time, it would just go right down to the mud. But now, I will pray as I go. I'll pray the wisdom, and then you know what? People will all of a sudden open to the gospel. People in need, and would come across my path, and I also apply that on my house church now, and we would all kneel down and pray God and worship Him, and the Spirit will show up, and we will be delivered, and we will be touched by the Spirit. And we were meeting in the library yesterday, and people outside of our study room came and said, we feel something while you guys prayed. Can we join you? I mean, there was some power, in the air, and I just said that we don't fight against the flesh and blood, but the principalities. So we must, everything we do, really, any obstacles, we must deal with the spiritual realm first. And then everything will fall together by itself, and the Lord's will be done. So hopefully this will help you too. Thank you. Bye.